The massive underground control room of Earth Defense Command buzzed with activity as dozens of operators monitored their screens. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, this facility had existed for over a century, unknown to most of humanity. Commander Jack Reynolds stood at his usual spot, hands clasped behind his back, watching the main display wall with unwavering attention. Something wasn't right. "Sir," called out Tom from his monitoring station, "we've lost contact with another observation post. That's the third one this month." His fingers flew across the holographic keyboard, bringing up a star map on the main screen. Red dots marked the locations of silent observation posts scattered across different star systems. Reynolds walked closer to the display, his gray eyes narrowing. "Show me the pattern of silence over the last 6 months." The map shifted, showing a time lapse of failing communication points. One by one, observation posts had gone dark, creating a clear line of advancement through the galaxy. Earth had placed these hidden stations throughout nearby star systems decades ago, watching and waiting. "It's not random," Reynolds muttered. "They're being systematically wiped out." The control room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. After 100 years of preparation, their worst fears were becoming reality. Reynolds pressed his palm against the biometric scanner on the central console. "Computer, initiate Protocol Omega. Authorization Reynolds 772. Red lights began pulsing throughout the facility. Deep beneath their feet, ancient machinery hummed to life. Across the planet, in secret bunkers and hidden bases, the same scene played out. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment. "Send word to all fleet commanders," Reynolds ordered. "Wake the sleepers." In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, massive hangar doors creaked open for the first time in decades. Ships that had never seen battle, crewed by teams trained in simulators their entire lives, powered up their engines. The Earth Defense Fleet was no small collection of patrol boats. It was a massive armada, built in secret over generations. Back in the control room, Reynolds opened a secure channel to the World Council. The faces of humanity's leaders appeared on screen, their expressions grim. "Council members," Reynolds began, "the threat we've prepared for has arrived. The pattern matches all our simulations. An advanced hostile force is methodically destroying civilizations across the galaxy." The council president leaned forward. "You're certain?" "The pattern is unmistakable. They're working their way through the galaxy, targeting civilizations at specific technological stages. Based on their current trajectory and speed." Reynolds paused, letting the implications sink in. "Earth is next." "Then we were right," the president said quietly. A century of preparation wasn't paranoid after all. Reynolds nodded. "Our ancestors' decision to hide our true capabilities was correct. While other civilizations broadcast their achievements to the stars, we buried our cities deeper. While they sent out messages of peace, we built warships. While they developed trade routes, we perfected weapons." On screens around the room, status reports flowed in from around the solar system. Underground cities that had been maintained for generations began their final preparations. Orbital defense platforms, disguised as debris or small moons, powered up their weapon systems. The Sol system was a fortress, and humanity was ready to defend it. "What are your recommendations, Commander?" the council president asked. "We maintain our deception for now. Let them think we're just another developing civilization. Our surface cities continue as normal, but we begin moving more people to the underground complexes. We activate the full defense grid but keep it in stealth mode." Reynolds straightened his back. "Most importantly, we stick to the plan our ancestors laid out. We've trained for this. We've prepared for this. We're ready." The council members nodded in agreement. A century of hiding, building, and preparing had led to this moment. Other civilizations had called humans paranoid for their endless disaster preparation, their obsession with invasion scenarios, their countless stories about alien attacks. But now, that paranoia would be their salvation. "Very well, Commander," the president said. Initiate full defensive operations. But remember, we maintain silence until they're within our trap." Reynolds smiled grimly. "Yes, sir. Let them come. We've been ready and waiting for a very long time." The red warning lights continued to pulse as humanity's massive war machine slowly awakened. In the depths of space, an unstoppable force was approaching. But for the first time in their long history of conquest, they were about to meet an immovable object. Humanity was done hiding. They were ready to fight. The alarm blared through Earth Defense Command as a ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel just beyond Mars' orbit. It was unlike anything in humanity's database, its hull scorched and damaged, trailing debris as it limped toward Earth. "Single vessel, not matching any known hostile signatures," reported Tom from his station. "They're broadcasting a distress signal on all frequencies." Commander Reynolds watched the main screen carefully. "Show me their message." A crackling voice filled the control room. "To any surviving civilizations, we seek sanctuary. Our world is gone. They're coming for you next." Reynolds typed a command into his console, activating a hidden scanner network. Hundreds of sensors, disguised as space debris, scanned the vessel from every angle. No signs of weapons powered up. Hull damage appears genuine. Life signs show approximately 50 beings aboard. "Sir," called out Lisa from communications, "the World Council is asking how to proceed." Reynolds studied the ship's trajectory. This could be genuine refugees or a trap. Either way, humanity was prepared. "Direct them to Landing Zone 7. Landing Zone 7 didn't exist on any public maps. Located in a remote desert, it was surrounded by hidden defense batteries and containment fields. If this was a trick, the visitors would find themselves in for a nasty surprise. The alien ship followed the landing instructions perfectly, settling down in a cloud of dust. Defense turrets tracked its every move, while underground sensors monitored for any sign of hostile intent. Reynolds transported to the site within minutes through the secret underground transit network. He stood in the reinforced observation room, watching as a ramp lowered from the alien vessel. The beings that emerged were tall and thin, their skin a pale blue, wearing what appeared to be damaged environmental suits. Their leader stepped forward, hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. "I am Ambassador Gray of the Stellar Alliance, or what remains of it." Reynolds pressed a button, allowing his voice to carry outside. "I am Commander Reynolds of Earth Defense Force. State your purpose." "We come to warn you," Gray replied, his voice trembling. "The Harvesters, they're systematically destroying all advanced civilizations. Our worlds were among the first to fall. We've been running, trying to warn others, but we're always too late." He looked around, noting the primitive-looking buildings and basic landing pad. "Your civilization is at the development stage they typically target. You must evacuate while you can." Reynolds exchanged glances with his officers. They had expected something like this. "How many ships do these harvesters have?" "Thousands," Gray replied. "They're unstoppable. They've never failed to destroy a civilization at your level of development." Reynolds smiled slightly. "Would you like to see something, Ambassador?" At his command, the ground began to rumble. The primitive buildings around them retracted into the earth, revealing advanced defense turrets. The desert floor split open as massive hangar doors revealed state-of-the-art military facilities beneath. The aliens stumbled back in shock. But your surface technology, your cities, are a deception," Reynolds finished. "We've been preparing for something like this for generations." He pressed another button, and a hologram appeared above them, showing Earth's true military might. Vast fleets hidden in the Kuiper Belt, weapon platforms disguised as asteroids, shield generators buried beneath every major city. Ambassador Gray's jaw dropped. "This is impossible. No civilization at your development stage has ever hidden their true capabilities, ever spent centuries preparing for an invasion." Reynolds stepped closer to the force field separating them. "Humanity has thousands of stories about alien invasions. We've imagined this scenario countless times. While other species reached for the stars, we prepared for the worst. You knew we were coming. Not you specifically, Reynolds replied. But we knew someone would come. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our paranoia. Our ability to imagine threats and prepare for them. The aliens looked at each other in amazement. One of them spoke up. Then, you might actually have a chance against them. Reynolds nodded grimly. More than a chance. We've been ready and waiting for this moment for a very long time. He gestured toward a massive blast door opening in the facility wall. Now let's talk about these harvesters. Tell us everything you know about them. It's time humanity showed the galaxy why you don't attack a species that's been preparing for war since before they reached the stars. The aliens followed Reynolds into the facility, their fear gradually being replaced by something they hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Perhaps humanity's legendary paranoia would prove to be the galaxy's salvation after all. Deep within Earth Defense Command's briefing room, Ambassador Gray's hands shook as he manipulated the holographic display. The room was filled with Earth's top military leaders, all watching intently as a massive fleet of dark ships appeared in the projection. These are the harvesters, Gray explained, his voice hollow with remembered fear. They attack in waves. First, they send scouts to identify developing civilizations. Then, once a target is confirmed, he paused, steadying himself. They come with everything they have. Commander Reynolds leaned forward, studying the ship designs. How many civilizations have they destroyed? 17 in the last cycle alone. Gray answered. They're methodical. They target worlds that have just discovered faster than light travel, but haven't yet developed strong defenses. They harvest all technology and resources, leaving nothing behind. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth had officially announced its first FTL test just last year, a carefully staged deception meant to make the planet appear vulnerable. Tell us about their weapons, Reynolds requested. As Gray described the harvester's capabilities, many of the human officers began to smile. The aliens noticed this strange reaction with confusion. Is something amusing about our destruction? Gray asked, bewildered. Reynolds stood up and walked to the center of the room. Ambassador, let me show you something. He pressed his palm against a scanner, and new holograms sprang to life around them. These are humanity's real weapons, not the ones we show the galaxy, but what we've actually developed. The aliens gasped as they saw the displays. Quantum phase cannons, antimatter torpedoes, gravity manipulation fields. Technologies they thought impossible for Earth's level of development. But how? Gray stammered. Area 51, Reynolds said with a slight smile. Roswell, Phoenix Lights, all those UFO crashes throughout our history. Some were real. We recovered alien technology long before we officially joined the galactic community. But instead of announcing our discoveries, we kept them secret. We studied. We reversed engineered. We prepared. He brought up another hologram, showing massive underground facilities. While we presented a facade of normal development to the galaxy, we built our real civilization underground. Every UFO sighting in our history taught us something new. Every alien conspiracy theory drove us to prepare more. Gray's eyes widened. The crashed ships, they were from previous Harvester scouting missions, weren't they? Reynolds nodded. We figured that out about 50 years ago. Each crash had similar technology, similar designs. We realized someone was testing Earth's defenses, so we gave them exactly what they wanted to see: a seemingly defenseless world. The hologram shifted to show Earth's hidden fleet. But in reality, we were learning from every probe they sent. Every piece of technology they dropped gave us more insight into their capabilities. We've spent generations preparing specifically for them. One of Gray's advisors stepped forward. This is why you broadcast that fake FTL test. You wanted them to target Earth. Exactly, Reynolds confirmed. We're tired of watching them destroy civilizations. It's time someone stopped them. and humanity. He gestured to the vast array of weapons and defenses displayed around them. We're very good at stopping threats. But the risk, Gray protested. If you fail, we won't. Reynolds' voice was firm. Humanity has something the Harvesters have never faced before: centuries of paranoid preparation. We've spent generations building weapons specifically designed to counter their technology. We've developed defenses based on their attack patterns. We've prepared our entire civilization for this moment. He turned off the holograms, leaving the room in dim light. The Harvesters think they're hunting us, but in reality, we've been hunting them. Every probe they sent gave us more information. Every crashed ship helped us understand them better. We've spent centuries setting this trap, and now they're about to walk right into it. Gray looked around the room at the confident faces of Earth's military leaders. For the first time, he began to understand why humans were different. Other species reached for the stars with hope and optimism. Humanity reached for the stars armed to the teeth, expecting the worst. Perhaps, Gray said slowly, the galaxy has been underestimating humans all along. Reynolds smiled grimly. That was the plan, Ambassador. That was always the plan. Now let's prepare to spring our trap. The Harvesters think they're facing a young, vulnerable civilization. It's time to show them how wrong they are. As the meeting continued, deep in space, the first wave of Harvester ships began their approach toward Earth. They were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating humanity's capacity for preparation and their talent for war. The massive screen in Earth Defense Command showed the Harvester fleet approaching. Over 3,000 ships moving in perfect formation. They had just passed Neptune's orbit, exactly where humanity wanted them. Commander Reynolds stood before the World Council, their faces displayed on screens around him. It's time to send our message. Are we in agreement? The Council President nodded. Proceed, Commander. Let's show them what they're really facing. Reynolds turned to his communications officer. Activate all systems. Broadcast on all frequencies, all languages. Make sure they can't miss it. Throughout the solar system, hidden transmitters powered up. The message would reach not just the Harvester fleet, but every corner of the galaxy. This was humanity's moment to reveal their true nature. Reynolds stepped onto the broadcast platform. Behind him, screens showed Earth's accumulated military might, images that had been kept secret for centuries. His voice was calm and clear as he began. To the approaching Harvester fleet, this is Commander Reynolds of Earth Defense Force. You believe you have found another easy target, another developing civilization to destroy. You are wrong. At his signal, the first demonstration began. The small moon orbiting Neptune suddenly disappeared, its holographic cover fading to reveal a massive battle station. Then another appeared, and another. Dozens of weapon platforms, hidden in plain sight for decades, powered up their systems. For centuries, you have sent scouts to our world. You watched us develop, waiting for the right moment to strike. But we were watching you back. Every probe you sent, every scout ship that crashed, we learned from them all. We studied your technology. We prepared our defenses. We built our strength in secret. The asteroid belt began to move. What appeared to be normal space rocks transformed into military installations and shipyards. A fleet of Earth's warships emerged from their hiding places, their numbers far greater than anything the Harvesters had encountered before. You think you know Earth's capabilities. You know nothing. Those primitive cities on our surface, a deception. Those basic spacecraft, a facade. The real Earth, the real humanity, has been preparing for this moment for generations. Deep space sensors showed the Harvester fleet slowing, their formation shifting as they processed this new information. Reynolds continued, his voice growing stronger. We've watched you destroy 17 civilizations in this sector alone. We watched, we learned, and we prepared. Every weapon we built was designed to counter your technology. Every defense we created was made to stop your attacks. You think you're the hunters. Look around you. You've just entered our kill box. The Kuiper Belt lit up as another 1,000 ships decloaked. Earth's true fleet was now visible, a massive armada that had been hidden in the outer solar system, waiting for this moment. This is humanity's final warning. We are not your prey. We are not defenseless. We have spent centuries preparing for this exact moment. If you continue your approach, you will experience firsthand why humanity's paranoia has kept us alive since we first looked up at the stars. Sensors showed the Harvester fleet had completely stopped. For the first time in their history of conquest, they faced a civilization that had been expecting them. You have 1 hour to retreat. If you choose to attack, understand this, we won't just defend Earth. We will end your threat to the galaxy permanently. Humanity has hidden in the shadows, building our strength, waiting for the right moment. That moment is now. Reynolds paused, letting the silence stretch. Around the solar system, Earth's defense grid hummed with power. Hidden weapon platforms locked onto harvester ships. Quantum computers calculated firing solutions. 1 hour, Reynolds repeated. Choose wisely. Earth out. The transmission ended. In the command center, everyone waited tensely. Ambassador Gray broke the silence first. In all our history, he whispered, no one has ever stood up to them like this. No one has ever been so prepared. Reynolds watched the main screen as the Harvester fleet remained motionless. That's because they've never faced humans before. We've spent our entire history imagining threats from the stars. Now that those threats are real, we're ready for them. The next hour would determine whether the Harvesters would become the first enemy to witness humanity's true military might. Either way, the galaxy was about to learn why Earth's paranoia and preparation had created the most formidable defensive force in known space. The countdown began. 55 minutes had passed since Earth's message. In the command center, Commander Reynolds watched the tactical display as the Harvester fleet remained motionless beyond Neptune's orbit. They hadn't retreated, but they hadn't advanced either. 5 minutes until the deadline. Tom announced from his station. The Harvester fleet is powering up their weapons. Reynolds nodded grimly. So they chose war. Send the signal. Operation Thunderbolt is now active. Across the solar system, humanity's centuries of preparation came to life. Deep beneath every major city on Earth, massive shield generators activated. The sky above Earth's cities shimmered as layers of protective barriers snapped into place. Technology reverse-engineered from a dozen different alien crashes. All civilian populations are now secured in the underground cities, Lisa reported. Surface evacuation is complete. In space, the real show began. The rings of Saturn suddenly rippled as thousands of hidden weapon platforms emerged from their camouflage. What looked like simple ice and rock had been hiding humanity's biggest guns for decades. Jupiter Defense Grid online, another operator called out. The gas giant's massive storms parted, revealing entire fleets that had been hiding in its atmosphere. Humanity had turned the largest planet in the solar system into a fortress. Ambassador Gray watched in amazement from his position behind Reynolds. Your people built all this in secret. Generation after generation, Reynolds replied, his eyes fixed on the displays. Every child grew up knowing they were preparing for this moment. While we showed the galaxy our crude rockets and simple satellites, we were building this. The moon's surface shifted as hidden hangar doors opened, revealing squadrons of fighters. Mars' polar ice caps split apart, unveiling missile installations that had been buried for 50 years. Even Mercury's scorched surface concealed surprises, automated defense platforms that could withstand the intense heat while guarding the inner solar system. All fleet commanders report ready, Tom announced. Quantum entanglement communication network is active. They can't jam our signals. Reynolds pressed a button on his command console. This is control to all units. Remember your training. Remember the simulations. Everything we've built. Everything we've prepared. It was all for this moment. The holographic display showed Earth's true military might in its entirety. The scared refugees from other worlds gasped as they saw the full scope of humanity's preparation. Tens of thousands of ships, millions of automated drones, weapon platforms that could tear apart entire fleets. 3 minutes to deadline, Lisa called out. Activate the Artemis grid, Reynolds ordered. In high orbit around Earth, hundreds of satellites that appeared to be simple communication relays transformed. They linked together, forming an energy web that could catch and redirect enemy fire. Another gift from studying crashed alien ships. 2 minutes. Deep in the Orc cloud, the last line of humanity's defense stirred to life. Automated factories that had been building ships and weapons for a century prepared to support the coming battle. Earth wouldn't run out of ammunition or ships. They'd been stockpiling resources since before the first moon landing. 1 minute. Reynolds looked at the assembled staff in the command center. Send final confirmation to all ships. Weapons free the moment they make a hostile move. On screens around the room, humanity's defenders checked in. Ship captains who had trained their entire lives in simulators for this battle. Gun crews who had practiced on hidden weapon platforms since childhood. Everything humanity had built in secret was about to be tested. 30 seconds. Ambassador Gray stepped forward. Commander, I've never seen such preparation. Such dedication. Humanity has always been good at preparing for the worst, Reynolds replied. Now we'll show them we're also good at delivering it. 10 seconds. The Harvester fleet began to move. Their ships spread out into attack formation, energy readings showing weapon systems charging. They're really going to do it, Tom said quietly. They're going to attack. Reynolds straightened his uniform. Good. Let's show them why you don't attack a species that's been expecting you for centuries. He raised his voice. All units, battle stations, this is what we've prepared for. This is what we've built for. This is humanity's moment. The countdown reached 0. The greatest battle in human history was about to begin. The Harvester fleet launched their attack exactly as humanity had predicted. Their first wave, over 500 ships, accelerated toward Earth's defenses, energy weapons charging. Commander Reynolds allowed himself a small smile. They're using attack pattern Delta, just like in the records from their previous invasions. Execute counter strategy 6. The Harvesters fired their first volley. A massive burst of energy weapons designed to overwhelm planetary defenses. It was a tactic that had worked against 17 other civilizations, but not this time. Artemis grid. Activate, Reynolds ordered. The energy web around Earth came to life. Instead of trying to block the incoming fire, it caught it, channeled it, and then redirected it back at the Harvester fleet. Dozens of enemy ships vanished in their own weapon fire. By the stars, Ambassador Gray whispered. You turned their weapons against them. First lesson we learned from studying their crashed ships, Reynolds replied. Their energy weapons are powerful, but predictable. Now, start Phase 2. The rings of Saturn suddenly erupted with activity. What looked like simple ice chunks revealed themselves as drone carriers. Thousands of automated fighters poured out, using the ring's debris as cover. The Harvester fleet, still reeling from their reflected attack, found themselves surrounded. Launch the Jupiter squadrons, Reynolds commanded. From within Jupiter's storms, humanity's hidden fleet emerged. These weren't the simple ships Earth had shown the galaxy. These were warships built with centuries of stolen alien technology, designed specifically to counter Harvester tactics. The battle erupted across the solar system. The Harvesters tried to adapt, to change their tactics, but humanity had prepared for every scenario. When they attempted to jump to faster than light speed, quantum disruptors hidden in the asteroid belt prevented their escape. When they tried to call for reinforcements, communication jammers in the Kuiper belt blocked their signals. They're falling into Kill Zone 3, Tom reported from his station. Just as planned. Reynolds nodded. Activate the Mars defense grid. The red planet's surface shifted as hidden weapon platforms emerged from the dust. The Harvester fleet found themselves caught in a crossfire between Mars and Jupiter's forces. Their supposedly invincible ships were being torn apart by weapons specifically designed to target their weaknesses. Sir, Lisa called out, "They're attempting to deploy their boarding pods. They're trying to capture our ships." "Perfect." Reynolds pressed a button on his console. "Release the boarding countermeasures." As the Harvester boarding pods approached human ships, they found them completely automated. No crew to capture, no hostages to take. Instead, each pod was met with automated defense systems that had been waiting for exactly this tactic. The command center watched as the mighty Harvester fleet, terror of the galaxy, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Their traditional tactics failed against defenses built to counter them. Their advanced technology met its match in weapons reverse-engineered from their own crashed ships. "They're retreating," Tom announced. "The main fleet is pulling back." But humanity wasn't finished. Hidden missile platforms on Mercury launched their payloads, cutting off the Harvester's escape route. The automated factories in the Orc cloud released swarms of combat drones, boxing in the remaining enemy ships. "Your people," Ambassador Gray said in awe, "you didn't just prepare for defense. You prepared to destroy them completely." Reynolds watched as the Harvester fleet broke apart under the onslaught. "We studied every invasion they ever conducted. We learned their patterns, their strategies, their weaknesses. Then we spent generations building the perfect trap." On the main screen, the last Harvester ships tried desperately to escape. But there was nowhere to run. Every corner of the solar system held another surprise, another weapon system specifically designed to counter their technology. "Send the final message," Reynolds ordered. Throughout the battle zone, every human transmitter broadcast simultaneously. "This is humanity's first and last warning. We are not prey. We are not victims. We are the civilization that watched, waited, and prepared. Spread the word throughout the galaxy. Earth is off limits." The remaining Harvester ships, broken and defeated, could only watch as humanity's true military might closed in around them. The galaxy was about to learn a vital lesson. Never underestimate a species that had spent its entire history preparing for war among the stars. The first battle was ending, and humanity had just announced its presence to the galaxy in a way that would never be forgotten. 1 month after the battle, Commander Reynolds stood before the gathered representatives of 20 different alien civilizations in Earth's newly revealed diplomatic chamber. The room, built deep beneath the Pacific Ocean centuries ago, was finally serving its intended purpose. "The Harvester threat has been eliminated," Reynolds announced, gesturing to the holographic display showing the aftermath of the battle. Their main fleet was destroyed. Their backup forces, hidden in deep space, were hunted down by our automated systems. Their home bases, which we located from their ship's data, have been neutralized. Ambassador Gray, now Earth's chief alien advisor, stepped forward. "In one battle, humanity accomplished what the combined forces of the galaxy couldn't do in centuries. The question everyone is asking is, how?" Reynolds smiled. "By being exactly what every other species thought was our weakness, paranoid." He activated another hologram, showing Earth's history. "From the moment humans first looked at the stars, we imagined threats. While other species dreamed of peaceful contact, we prepared for war. Every piece of science fiction, every alien invasion story, they weren't just entertainment. They were preparation." The alien representatives murmured among themselves as Reynolds continued. "When the first real alien ship crashed on Earth in 1947, we didn't announce it to the world. We studied it. When more followed, we learned from each one. We discovered the Harvesters were testing us, so we gave them exactly what they wanted to see, a seemingly primitive civilization." The hologram showed Earth's massive underground cities, hidden fleets, and weapon systems. Every generation added to our defenses. While we showed the galaxy crewed rockets, we were building quantum ships. While we displayed simple satellites, we were constructing planet-wide shield systems. One of the alien representatives, a survivor from a world the Harvesters had destroyed, spoke up. "But why reveal yourselves now? Why not stay hidden?" "Because the galaxy needs to understand something," Reynolds replied. Humanity isn't just another civilization. We're the civilization that expects the worst and prepares for it. We're the ones who look at peace and plan for war. We're the paranoid ones who build bunkers during peacetime. He pressed a button, and the hologram showed Earth's new defense grid extending beyond the solar system. We're done hiding. From now on, Earth will stand as a protector of developing civilizations. We'll use our technology, our preparation, to ensure no other world faces what you faced. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity, the species everyone had dismissed as primitive, was now revealing itself as the most militarily advanced civilization in known space. But know this, Reynolds continued, his voice firm. We haven't revealed all our capabilities. What you saw in the battle was just what we needed to show. Humanity still has secrets, still has hidden defenses. We're still preparing, still building, still watching. Ambassador Gray stepped forward again. The galaxy feared the harvesters for centuries. Now they'll remember the humans, the species that destroyed them in a single battle. No, Reynolds corrected. They'll remember us as the species that was ready. The civilization that spent generations preparing for a threat everyone else ignored. The paranoid ones who turned out to be right. He looked at each alien representative in turn. Earth is opening diplomatic relations with all peaceful civilizations. We'll share some of our defensive technology, help protect developing worlds. But remember, what you've seen of our capabilities is just the surface. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our weapons or our technology. It's our constant readiness for the worst. The hologram showed the solar system once more, now peaceful but still bristling with hidden defenses. Spread the word throughout the galaxy. Earth is no longer hiding. We stand ready to protect, to defend, to fight if necessary. But also spread this warning. We're still watching, still preparing, still building. Any species that mistakes our openness for vulnerability will learn why humanity's paranoia has kept us safe for so long. As the alien representatives nodded in understanding, Reynolds couldn't help but smile. Humanity had finally taken its place among the stars, not as the primitive civilization everyone had thought they were, but as what they had always been, the most prepared, most defensive, most paranoid species in the galaxy. And in a dangerous universe, that paranoia had turned out to be humanity's greatest gift to the stars.